Join me in welcoming Rohit Singh on the stage. Yeah, the stage is here.
Thank you, Vidhi. So you see Kedar, then you see me, and then you say he must be, just boasting. Couldn't have learned 20. Yes, but that's what I'm saying, that there's space for everyone to do everything, no matter whether it's, your work or whatever you want to pursue. Okay. So let me just soak in first, not often that you see so many tech writers. I remember when I started, and many of us, 2005 I'm talking about, and it just seemed like that I'm a lone wolf in Delhi, NCR and Noida area, because there were not many writers at that time. And then I kept switching, learning, and today we are here, and big round of applause for all of you, because and I'm a strong proponent of the fact that community has to grow, it has to open up, leave that insecurity that you need to hold on to where you are and take it ahead. Okay, having said that, I'll be speaking in terms of how we are using GitHub Copilot at our workplace. I've got few slides just to guide me and to give you visuals. By the end of this presentation, you're going to say, we know this, we already know this. So that's my expectation from you, right? So, and especially for those who are starting up in the profession and are wondering what they should do, we go on, as Mukta rightly said, harping on, courses and things. So just get the basics right, and everything you can do with or without a course. Okay, so let me start. So this is my agenda. Okay, so I am going to talk about GitHub Copilot and AI Visual Studio Code. How many of you have been using it? I mean, I'm definitely sure that some people must be using it. So it's wonderful. So probably what you're going to see, you're already doing, right? And please contribute if you feel that there is something that you can add on here. So that's all that I want to mention. Basically, we are going to talk about how you edit or enhance documents. You can do several things. I've just noticed a few of the things that might come up in our day-to-day work on a regular basis, and sometimes we just procrastinate. Oh, now we have to make a flowchart, now I have to do a table or something. So, not that it will do a cut-through job, you have to still review it and get it reviewed, right? How you can add more content. And everything that I'm telling here is with a pinch of salt, right? So also I want to mention that the tool that we use in our company is Madcap. Since the day we started using GitHub Copilot, I am seldom doing my documentation in Madcap Copilot, because I find it so much easier that quickly, if there is something you can improve upon, and you don't have to wait for an SME, the age-old cry, the ancient cry in the technical writing world, right? So you can give your SME a breather. Sometimes I've discovered even they don't know what exactly has to go in. It's only when you show them. So visuals really help. So yeah, so this is how, if for those of you who haven't been using or don't know how it looks, I'm sure, it won't be visible at the back, but I can quickly tell you. So what I do is, in Madcap, there's a content folder. I simply open it on this side. So you can open your content folder, you can see your HTML, this is your workspace, and that's where you have Copilot edits and chat. So the chat works like ChatGPT, right? You can put things, it will generate, and then from here you can add on, you can create a new file or add into your existing content. Copilot edits is more like inline here. It will add things inline, and then just as code review is done, right? You can accept things and use in your documentation, right? So since we were all hungry, I thought the best, milkshakes user guide would be a good. How do you make a good milkshake, right? So that's what I've got for you. So this is where you see it in the HTML, and this is your best milkshake recipe. That I can share with you later on, right? But this is also done by ChatGPT, so I thought, I can't show you what we do at, because Rocket has a very tough process of hiring people, and I'll be left with no job. So I thought, I'll just, yeah. So let's deal with milkshake for now. Okay, so similar situation you would be having in your documentation that you currently have at your workplace. That there is a certain structure. You have introduction, and in this case, there are ingredients. You may have some software dependencies or other things, and then the tools you need. Okay, so how do we further improve it? What and without giving story points that go beyond the release date also sometimes, right? So I'm showing you that how we have added GitHub. You can add, so you can use mermaid.js, which is a JavaScript thing. All you have to do is, and I'm not telling you how do you write your prompts, right? What works more for me might not work for you, right? So you devise your own, and we'll talk about that later a little bit. So I simply asked, that I need a flow chart for the steps, that how do I make this milkshake, right? And embed it in the same file that I've been using. So what it did for me, it created this flowchart here, right? And then you can further customize it also. You can take this mermaid code from here and you can put this in draw.io also, right? You'll get the same thing there also, and if you want to further modify and if it works for you as is, use it, right? You want to get it reviewed. It's very useful for your API documentation scenarios where you are showing sequence diagrams. You can simply use from the Swagger file or whatever you've been using, or you just want to learn for your own idea. So that's something that you can add. So I'm left-handed, so that creates a lot of problem for me. Okay. So this is just. So I said, okay, I've got it. Often we face, when we are doing our work, right? There's enough information that has come from SMEs, developers, or whoever, but it's not good overview or good something that you can add on top of it, right? So I'll quote a small, many scenarios now since this thing has come into the picture, like, you have Angular, TypeScripts, you've been working on Ansible roles, Helm charts. What you got from your development team is one line, this is default, this has to be configured, right? But there isn't enough. And often when these things go to the customer, there's a fallback. There are Jira tickets that will come your way that we need to fix, we need to provide more, we need to know what's the dependency of each parameter and all this. So you can, this is just a suggestion, what you can do is you can download your code repo if you have access to it, and you open it in the workspace that I showed you here. And if you simply ask that, just create an overview that introduces users to what this Helm is about, what are the Angular and the TypeScripts are doing. So it will give you a very good summary overview, and you can detail it, expand it based on what you want, and then get it reviewed, right? Okay, so in this case, we asked about add a detailed overview about milkshakes. So it did a very good job in a way of adding, right? All that you see in green is the addition that it has done, and there's no compulsion, right? Whether you use it or not. Okay, so you've got this. So if you click the check mark here, it will accept, it will add it to your content, you save it. So what I do, I'm documenting here, then I toggle back to Madcap and see how it is looking there. Because it is intelligently knows that it's following the CSS that you already have, right? You can discard it if you want, and probably you can create another file. I don't exactly remember what this does because never used it. Yeah. So, and this is what we get. This could be a situation you can apply it in real life where you can use it, right? Similarly. We have tools, right? Similarly, we get a lot of parameters of things, not in the description, just I spoke before. So in that case, you can also, so this is a video, I'll show you later, I've got 2 MP4s. Let's see if this works. Okay, let's move on. So we added a table. So what it did, it added a table for all the tools that were listed, and I don't know how do I use a Blender, right? It may happen I put my finger in that, what happens then? So it gave me a good enough description that this is what Blender is for, how do you use measure curve, all those things. So similar, we had a bug issue that there was a documentation that I had done a couple of years ago. There were Ansible rules that I thoroughly trusted that was coming from SME has approved, everyone has approved. But when I fed that same thing to our licensed Copilot, it gave me a few more things that added. When I got it reviewed by people, it further resonated. So there's a good harmony that you can develop and use that. Very important thing, you need to know what output you're expecting, and you need to know your input also. If either of it is missing, you're probably going to do something vague, and if you pass it ahead for review, so then people might get hesitant. So have enough depth and grip on what exactly you're wanting, right? So, okay. So also you can then, and it's just wonderful. See, these are some of the things when there have been so many times that you had an idea and you spent 3 months. I remember back in 2017-18, I discovered Doc as a code as by accident. I stumbled upon some Giraffe Academy YouTube tutorials. From there, it led me to Jekyll, from Jekyll to GitHub, and then I did a POC which took 3-4 months. Now I've done many POCs, and trust me, it's not just about Markdown. You can do several others. So without digressing any further, so this is how you can add tables, right? Okay, this is again, you wanted to. So the table that I generated before was just plain. You would see things sorted, but then you can add your headers, you can add your borders and everything, change the color. You can do everything from here. Okay, this is my last slide. So this was not about prompts. This is not about all that you can do. This is about just throwing in a perspective and things that we can accomplish with this, right? So you have a way. So I participated in a hackathon and being from the tech writing team where we did a POC, and that was a kick point. That was last year somewhere in August. We developed a tool that would review 4 documents at once. And you get to learn that when somebody talks to you, what is supervised, how is supervised and unsupervised AI thing is happening, right? So it gives you. So I created some text file that it was reading and doing things. So we could review 4 files at length in one. It would generate a remote, give sentiment analysis around and the typos and so many other things, right? And that was a motivation that I got, that I took a paid version of ChatGPT, and since then, so the learning curve of things, it has really flattened. It has taken out elitism from technical writing, right? Though we call it, and let me call it out, though we say we are tech writers, we are here to do things as fifth grader could understand, but just to create sometimes differentiation between us, we try to sound more technical, which we don't have to. When I started, for me it was more important to know that how the thing works, and then whatever happens on Tom is just, so it reduces all the fluff. So keep that in mind. So, yeah, not me, Kedar. So, heavy lifting. All that heavy lifting that you've been doing all this around, give it to AI. Okay? It will do that for you. It will make, it will sort out things for you. It will cut down your time. In our company now, we have to put whether this story is AI empowered or not, right? If we are using AI, then how much time it is saving for us. And we put all that in, right? So it gives you that how much you gain. So I've done video narrations using this. I would simply feed in the files that I've been using, and I just ask, could you generate a 2-minute video that I can use? And then I'll take things from there. There'll be a little inconvenience, right? But I'm not a fan of going on a AI shopping frenzy and buying every tool that has, because everything has this thing in the back, right? So if a little pain is fine, ठीक है? घर में वो सिलवट्टा भी होता है और मिक्सी भी होती है, सब चलता है. Okay. About the prompts, when you are starting, just try to keep it simple, specific, and short. Okay. So what happens that now you have this thing that can do everything that you want to do, right? And you tend to feed in a lot of information, and then it will start hallucinating. It will throw you things, and then it will be very tough to bring yourself back to what exactly you are doing, right? Do I have anything else? No. So that's it, and There's something that I said. Satya Nadella, a few days back, there was an interview in which he said, AI is going to get commoditized, and commoditized very fast, right? So if you're not able to build better products on top of this, and don't look at it at your level, your productivity improves. And he said he took it to a level of GDP. How would you see a country is doing, right? So and he talked about something called Jevons effect, right? You can Google it. So it's basically about the thing when it becomes more efficient. It doesn't mean that the users go down. It actually increases. You see how ChatGPT came, number of users that it got in a certain period of time. DeepSeek has done it in probably less than half of its time. So remember all that. And is there anything that I missed? Yes, last thing. So tools that we have been using all this wise, they limit us. Okay? This is the window, this is a beautiful tree outside, and you can only see this much. Right? But if you just break this wall, there's a beautiful tree, spring, beautiful, nice. That's what AI is doing. So if you just use it wisely, along with it's not panacea for everything, it will never be. And no one is good. Don't even encourage or that fear and discussion that goes on professional networks around losing job. It's good to get traction to your profiles, but stay away from that because nothing can, only you. Mixing में only आप डालोगे तो कटेगा हाँ, नहीं तो नहीं कटेगा, right? Okay, I think that's it I have. If you have any questions, I can take those. Yeah.
So without India? Yeah.
Hi, my question is with the continuous use of Copilot for content, something like overview and you delete the entire technical details, with the Copilot throwing us such efficient and wonderful overviews, do you think it will lead to losing the skill of writing?
No, it won't.
Because it's giving you ready-made answers, because otherwise writing an overview, requires a lot of understanding of the feature, the capability, and then coming up with the content. But now it reads the entire, maybe the HLS or the HLD, and it's throwing a very good overview.
Of course.
I'm just asking because I somehow feel, I'm not thinking enough. I'm just using my Copilot.
No, I think
to write answer.
so I totally understand, and that's what I'm also very old school in that sense. But I think that we are holding ourselves back. If something and it's not going to give you overview just based on your time. You give your key pointers that you have in mind. It will give you something. It will spit out something, and most often it is not going to fit your tech writing standards. Then you have to work on it, revise it. So the time here, see, we are in a craft, but it's not artisanal. No matter how much we want to, so we have to produce fast, right? So it cuts down that time. That's it. So if you feel that you can do that thing. So if it reduces your 60 minutes to something in 20 minutes, right? Why not?
But what if I'm using it for a long time, and after some time I don't have those tools? I'm just thinking aloud. Maybe I'm not thinking I'm losing the capability of analyzing the entire capability and writing on my own. So
yeah. So that doesn't happen. Right? It hasn't, because while I showed it to you, I only used it in the use cases that I said, where I don't have first-hand information, and probably others are also struggling around it. You can use it very comfortably, right? It will give you a platform to collaborate with people with whom information have been coming originally. So there is no harm if you feel the way that it's been working for you is going fine. That's why I said take it with a pinch of salt. And not necessarily what I'm saying here is something you have to go and implement and do. It just fastens up your thing, right? You don't have to like it what it gives you. You can totally keep it.
I totally like what it gives me, and
so we've been writing for so long. I don't think we are going to lose. It is only going to better our skills. So that's how I would see that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I've never used Copilot for documentation, so the skill question. In your example, you added a description of milkshake.
Yeah.
Did it use generative AI to generate that text?
Yes.
Okay, so in case of products, I don't think a lot of information about the product is available online or
Yeah, good question.
AI to pick up.
Yeah.
So how will that be generated?
So it's not generating from the outside networks and LLMs, right? When you have your code base in reference, it is working on that. Okay, it's a licensed version. And we also don't put everything on. ChatGPT is a big no. It's only Copilot. There's a big push around it, right? So everyone is using, and why not we? I mean, see, everyone has started very basic also. And probably it connects to your question also. You see products, most of them are building summarization, right? Something that probably we've been doing for ages now. Now what everyone is doing is now there will be augmentative AI and all the things. I mean, so there's a license part to it, and there's a part where it is in-house. So you can do whatever. So you refer to your code base, refer to. I've used HTML or say the files that I've worked on. You pull them into your workspace and accordingly ask it to summarize. Sometimes understand the pressure of the workplace also. At times you have to, there are releases every 2 weeks. You can't spend like so much time. So if it's helping you in a good way, why not, right? And within our office also, one of our colleagues is running I for an AI session where we, by the way, I'll tell you things where you would be procrastinating. Let's say adding alt text to images, right? Everybody says accessibility important, we need to add, but how often do we go or even change or update? Now, if you just tell this, and Copilot Vision has this Copilot Vision extension, which is now coming inbuilt. So if you even pull your handmade wireframes into that, it will give you a code that how this thing is. It can add your alt text to it. So these are good things. So if you, yeah, okay.
No, it's fine. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, I have 5 minutes. So I don't know if there was anything more that I wanted to. Yes, I had a couple of videos, but we can skip those.
Yeah, one more question.
So Rohit, great session, thank you.
Yeah.
So my question is to you and also to the audience before that. So how many companies allow free use of AI in documentation? I mean, is there any company that has told its employees that you can use as much AI as you want?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many companies say that, okay, we have concerns that ChatGPT might steal our IP, so don't use it or maybe use it? Okay.
So there are 2 parts to it. So there are 2 parts to it. We are not using. So that is why you stick to the Microsoft ecosystem or whichever you are using. ChatGPT, big no. DeepSeek, never. Right? Company आपकी वहाँ लक्ष्मी चौक पे आ जाएगी. So there are 2 parts to it, and these fears are even. So even if I need, sometimes see, I'll tell you what I often do or we encourage in. Suppose you have an idea, you use ChatGPT to know that how it's to be done. Sometimes I have pulled codes on Python and other things using a very generic prompt, and then I have used Copilot to further modify, customize, and make it suit to my use case. It's automatic. Please understand. It's not about summarizing your work or doing your job, but cutting down the waste. You have to focus on your writing, right? It has to add value. It has to become very receptive and easy to understand. So that's where it comes in use. So just see it, what's waste for you, what's the overhead that you're doing, right? That it can do. So yeah.
Yeah, hi. So this is not a question really. I'm kind of raising it for the entire tech writing community. The point that she made, I think we are all kind of supporting the use of AI and co-pilots, which totally is a valid thing. I have myself tried a couple of co-pilots and seen how it helps us reduce our work and make things go faster. But I am raising an overall concern with the next gen as well. Because see, we who are already maybe in our 40s are saying that I am the old school, I'm still the old school, I will still give my final touch to it and all. But these 23-year-olds who have just entered the tech writing world and they have started with this, just like our kids have started with mobile. I really think that this can be seen as a great concern that they don't know what writing things is, and they are growing with this, so they just start using it right from day one, and they don't know other way around.
Yeah.
So maybe, I'm just saying that there should be some sort of a standardization which
Exactly.
as a community somewhere we should come up with, because I see this is a very dangerous trend as well on the other hand. Because on the one hand you have things that make your life easy, but you have something which will also detect AI generated content, but on the other hand there is also an AI humanizer which will also give it a human touch, so you are good with that. You know, you can still go with that content and make it human. But then what is yours? What is your contribution, which still remains, I think, a matter of concern for us at large.
So my intent here is not to discourage on that. I think we are going on a long path. Every generation has its own concerns, right? So, point well taken. It's about education around it, and every company is doing it, and nobody wants to do what they are doing. And it's also not about because it is in. See, today is great, is tomorrow good. There will be something. So if you don't know today is great, you won't be able to deal with what's coming up next, right? It doesn't take away your jobs, it doesn't take away your skills, it only enhances, and if you use it rightfully, it supports. And that's what goes for, and I especially want to vouch it for people who are starting, because I see, you know, while they might not be using it in their job, they go on spending a lot of money learning all these things. It's just to give an overview and the things that you can keep simple and do. We have to do. Not everyone within the writing fold is also that equipped to write everything so beautifully. And let me tell you, some people, and it might not sound great, some people got into in early phases because, you know, writing hi to hai, will do it, right? And then they realize it's a different ball game. So if it helps people level up, learn if they are interested, I think it's a good thing. But yes, point taken.
So, I don't know. I don't know who was asking the question. I couldn't see from the back, but was it you? Who was asking the question? Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
So, do you drive an automatic car or a manual car?
Manual.
Mixer grinder. Mixer grinder.
I'm just raising the concern, but I don't.
Your concern is
On the
right.
manual driving before you move
So,
to automatic.
just
That's what a concern is.
I think I've understood both the sides, and that's why I'm just going to try coming to the common ground for all of you. So, while I understand that yes, you cannot avoid using AI even in daily life, forget your profession. You have to use AI. That is what, like how we did not resist Google search as much. So why resist AI? That's your point, right? That you have to, so just go ahead with it. On the other hand, Deepika, what you were saying is, you are going to lose that ability to think for yourself and come up with the draft that you can come up with, that human context that the human brain only can add. That might get lost, and you might get that ability just, you know, start leaving you day by day. That should not happen. So basically what you are, it's always going to come back to the human discipline. If the human being is disciplined enough, will spend some time before actual writing on research, on coming up with a skeleton, on some scribbles, and be okay with the writer's block. I have been saying this for almost a year now, that if you get rid of the writer's block, that is where you are going to get rid of your actual skills. So be okay with the writer's block, be okay with being uncomfortable that I don't understand this domain yet, I don't understand the product yet, I don't understand the users yet, I'm still struggling, and still I have to write because that's what my role is, and I'll have to show something. So my first draft is not going to be more than 60% accurate. But being okay with that at the first draft level, AI adds so much of polish in it that you feel that this is good and this is 90% there. But no, so think about your documentation development life cycle, DDLC, in such a way that, okay, for research, what are the things that I can take from AI? For the first draft, what are the things that I can take from AI? I haven't started drafting anything big for with AI, but I have started using AI for
community event mailers that I have to send to people. I don't want to spend too much time on it. That's not what I should be focusing on. So I'm using it there. For my out of office reply, yes, you are all going to get that in the next week. But when I'm writing that out of office email, I am using AI there because I don't want to spend too much time there, but I still want to have a connection with the person who sends me that email. So I want to use that opportunity to tell them that, okay, I'm out here, so that whenever we meet next, there will be some 2-3 lines about non-work, and that will help us connect at human level. All such opportunities we must take with the help of AI, and that's what I feel.
So
it should be a mix.
very quickly, so the point was, and even in documentation, right? I know I can do a table. I have everything in pointers, description is also, but I want to just do it in a table. Now, if it does it, it is not harming you or anything, right? Those sorts of things. We are still writing. ऐसा नहीं nice में अब हम sweater बना रहे हैं. So we are writing and we are writing a lot of it on its own, but at the end of the day, you have a tool which can do a little value add. Just see it like that for now, right? And that will, and then there is a learning curve. You'll know, oh, I can, I have this thing coming out, so I can automate this, I can remove this. It's good. You come at par with people in the development. They start understanding that you understand, and you'll see how much your interaction gets better with people. It's not for today, it's been there for later, but it's just another thing that is added to our armory. That's all that I have to say. So, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.